What's up, guys? Lore here, finally back once again for some more Heart of the Swarm replay roulette. That's right, finally getting back into casting some Heart of the Swarm matches. These are random matches that I'm finding on drop.sc, just in the overall replay listing. So I don't know anything about these players at all going into this, other than obviously we are having ourselves a good old-fashioned PvZ here on Newkirk Precinct. So down here in the bottom right corner, we have our Red Zerg Tang, and his opponent will be down here in the southwest corner. We have Grape. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This one isn't as random as the others. I saw this one in the listing, and I just had to know who is finally going to win. Who is finally going to be claimed the victor between Orange Tang and Grape Drink. This is going to be probably the most delicious match I have ever cast. In fact, I'm really thirsty as I'm continuing to talk right now. So we'll see how this whole thing works out. Looks like just some pretty normal openings so far. Nothing too crazy. No like early 6 pool or anything like that. So we'll see what ends up happening. There is a 13 gateway from Mr. Grape over here. He's going to now send off this probe to theoretically do a little bit of scouting here. Yep, there he goes. No, yeah, there it is. There's the spawning pool now down for Tang over here. So we're seeing a pretty standard opening, not going hatchery first. This is kind of a dangerous map to go hatchery first on sometimes, depending on your opponent and depending on the league you're in. Reminder, this is, even though I saw the name of the list and so said I had to cast this match, I don't know what league these guys are in at all, so it's a little bit hard to tell. Sometimes in different leagues, different openings are safer than others. It's kind of funny the way it works out overall, how the metagame will progress in different leagues, how different things can work out differently to the point where, okay, maybe if you're a silver or gold leaguer, maybe you have a little bit more trouble defending a early hatchery on a map like this. You do see it happen from time to time in pro matches, but it is not what we're seeing here today. Mr. Grape over here stealing himself some minerals, grabbing those 5 minerals and flying off. If Tang ends up 5 minerals short on something later on in the game, I will laugh intensely. All right, well, so this is the boring part of the game where nothing much happens. So let's talk a little bit about Heart of the Swarm now that it's out and has been released. This match is actually a few days old now at this point. It's been funny to see how rapidly the metagame has been progressing. It's actually really exciting to see how rapidly the metagame is progressing and changing in the live servers now that it's actually released. Things are very, very different from in the beta. We're starting to see like real solid strategies start to formulate and people really starting to stick by them. It's pretty awesome. For example, Protoss have been going very, very heavily towards airplay, and really relying heavily on this early mothership core. We're seeing one now warping out here. Notice how he's got this rally all the way up over here next to his opponent's entrance. He's probably going to be going for some early pressure. In fact, he should be going for some early pressure with that. And Tang should be expecting it as well. So we're going to have to see what sort of plans Tang has to defend this. Like I said, it is pretty standard to see that early mothership core aggression, because you just poke out there, you grab whatever units you can get together in that amount of time. Ooh, Tang actually getting supply block there, and losing a Zergling. Had that on hold position, so that's going to be a bit rough for him. He's going to need everything he can, everything he can get to defend this. Ooh, and he's actually going for a very, very fast third hatchery as well. So this could actually be very, very dangerous. This mothership core aggression, it's not intended to kill, but a Stalker and a Zealot and a mothership core this early on up against, what, a Queen? Maybe a couple Zerglings. What does he even have for units right now? He literally has 3 Zerglings and 2 Queens to defend this push with. So if Grape wants to, he can probably push in here and do some serious damage. And there, that Zergling going to take a little bit of damage. Does, fortunately for him, bait that Zealot away. And now the Stalker's going to come in here and try to do some damage, but there we go. Now there's the Mothership Core there in place. And if he can get that Queen down, this will be really, really dangerous for Tang. If Grape can kill off that Queen, this will be a lot of trouble. Fortunately, though, since that Zealot was way off in the middle of nowhere, that has made it rather difficult now for Grape to actually do any damage with this little push. So that's good news for Grape. Here come those Zerglings again. And with that Zealot in there, he does now have plenty of Zerglings in here. The Zealot should be able to take out a couple of them. Yeah, it looks like he kills off 2 of those Zerglings. Might get a third. Could actually move that over there and kill it. Decides not to. Wants to come over here and kill off this pylon, though. Tang pushing out over here, trying to push him back. Ooh, a little bit of miss micro. Grape needs to think really hard about what he's doing here, but there we go. There comes the warp in. He does now have several more gateways up and running here at the front of his base. So there's lots of production now available for him. Might lose the Stalker. Ooh, 6 health remaining on that Stalker. Very, very dangerous for him there. But he will begin to, very shortly here, there we go. Now starting to regenerate some of those shields. But the Zerglings coming back over it. They don't have speed yet. Will the Stalker get away in time? Just barely. That Stalker is the luckiest Stalker in existence. However, these Zealots over here, not quite so much. They do manage to do a decent amount of damage. There's one more down over here, chewing through a few more Zerglings there. So that is still overall some good damage. And ooh, Grape deciding to come over here. Someone's sending me whispers. Hang on 1 second. Let's just go ahead and say no more of those. All right. Anyway, Grape now coming over here, going to do a little bit of damage to this thing. He is getting intercepted by some Zerglings down over here. This pylon has now been destroyed, and with those 2 queens in there, he should be able to push this back. But this hatchery up over here is almost certainly going to die. Down it goes. And now Grape finds himself in an interesting situation. He's done some decent early damage, but the question now is, does he continue to put on pressure? Does he continue to try and go in for the kill? Or does he fall? He does still have this forward pylon over here. Does he continue to put on pressure, or does he decide to fall back and macro up? When you've done this amount of early pressure, trying to decide when to continue to push the advantage and when to just fall back and leave it alone is key. And I do actually really like this choice by Tang to drop this down over here. He knows that the reinforcements have been coming through this pathway here, so down over here is a place that could theoretically be safe. Now normally that would be very, very dangerous, but with where this pylon is positioned, I'm not actually sure if if Tang knows that's there. No, he does not know that that pylon is up over there, but as it turns out, with this pylon positioning, reinforcements will be coming down through this pathway, which means they will not walk past that hatchery, and it could be a while before Grape even knows it there. There are so many distractions going on right now all the way around me. I apologize. Let's just go ahead and mute everything so I can focus on this game. It's interesting. I have not seen this in a long time. We've got a macro hatchery coming out here for Tang. He is starting to get a little bit high on minerals, but once this hatchery pops, I feel like he won't be able to support this one as well on top of that. Maybe he's just worried about losing this hatchery again, and he wants to be able to continue to produce units. Not too sure. That does seem like a very, very strange choice to me. Meanwhile, let's check in on Grape over here. He has now built that Stargate, starting to work on Void Rays. Void Rays are very, very scary nowadays. And adding on several more gateways and starting to get to work on his upgrades as well. That is 4 more gateways in production, as well as that +1 ground weapons. Interestingly enough, he is... where is that? There he goes. Interestingly enough, he is not researching any of the air weapons. He is going to build a few Void Rays, but he's not getting any upgrades for it just yet. So that's an interesting choice, and he is starting to get a very, very Sentry Zealot heavy army composition going out over here. Several sentries, several zealots, looking like he's going to push out again with this mothership core. This is a very wounded mothership core. It does have full shields, but notice how it only has 33 health. That's a total of 93 damage that needs to be dealt to it to actually kill that thing off. So that will not be super helpful, but with the addition of these Void Rays in there, this could be a big deal. These Zerglings here are going to spot this, will decide to sneak on out of there before they end up getting killed off. But I don't know if he ever actually got a chance to see the Void Rays. And now pushing up over here, he's got a whole bunch of roaches, which are going to be great against the ground army. Oh no, he's on move command, needs to turn around. There he goes, gets himself a couple of kills. More roaches coming in down here. The Guardian Shield is going off. A couple of nice force fields just to try and cut him off. Does just barely miss that one to kill that other roach. So these roaches are going to push. Is he just going to go for a base race right now? Is that what's going to happen? With the Void Rays in here now, one quick thing I want to mention before we get to another battle here. If you're not aware, they have been reworked again since the last couple of matches I cast. Ooh, that's the mass exodus of the drones there. Kills off a few of them. Could have dropped a couple of force fields and gotten himself a whole bunch of kills. But the Void Rays now have to activate their prismatic alignment, and all it does is give them increased damage versus armored units. It's not really a big deal a lot of the time. We now have roaches over here at the front entrance. He does have the prismatic alignment active. It's just on a cooldown. Trying to burn through these roaches as much as he can, but these roaches are actually doing quite a bit of damage. He needs to consider taking out this Stargate, though, or at least the pylons powering it, something like that. Meanwhile, over here in Tang's base, this Protoss army is starting to do a whole lot of damage as well. There's the time warps going on there, just to keep those drones away a little bit longer as the drones are pulled to try and defend this attack. This is going to be an interesting, this was going to be kind of down to the wire here, but unfortunately it looks like this roach attack is going to peter out here eventually. These 2 Void Rays, there's nothing the Roaches can do about them. The 2 Void Rays will eventually kill that entire army off. And unless Tang can somehow pull something out here, the drone's coming off the line yet again. He does have Hydralisk out now. But they will, the last Hydralisk has now fallen. There's 1 Queen up over here still trying to do its best. But that is unfortunately the end of that. There is no longer any anti-air here for Tang. And this is looking like the end of everybody's favorite orange drink. It's looking like Grape Drink is going to win out here in the end. There's another... that Hydralisk had a very, very short life. Very short and unfulfilled life. Interestingly enough, he's gone back to mining over here. Looks like Grape is going to come around over here and try to do some more damage. There are no more ground units here for Grape, so there is a possibility if he can kill off these Void Rays. It's just the 3 Void Rays there. If he can kill those off, he could theoretically start to do some damage, but what is he going to do? He's got the Hydralisk Den up. He could get out a wave of Hydras at some point. He's building on Queens as well. And otherwise, he's just got a whole bunch of Zerglings here. He's going to try to come up in here and do some more damage. Maybe sneak past and see about doing some damage to the mineral line. I don't know how much good that's going to do him. He is going to get up in here and start working away at these probes, but that may be too little too late. In fact, that definitely is too little too late at this point. The Void Rays over in Grape's base are just chewing through everything. That Queen is not going to be able to get anything done against these Void Rays. They now have that prismatic alignment active. It does, I believe, yes, it does cause extra damage to buildings as they are considered armor. We've got the good match, good job coming out of Tang. So there you have it, guys. Grape Drink wins, is superior to Orange Tang, at least in Protoss versus Zerg. Well, that was still a very, very exciting match. Very back and forth. I love base races. They're always so much fun to watch. But that's going to wrap this one up. GG's to both players. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am glad to be back and casting these matches again. I'm going to cast a few more. I'll see you guys later.